Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to our today lecture. Our today lecture is different from our previous lecture. In previous lecture, we have discussed how to run and how to estimate the different econometrics model. But in this lecture, I am going to estimate the coefficient values of A and B by using the ordinary least square method. So here we have the simple equation y is equals to alpha plus beta x plus c, where alpha is the intercept, beta is the slope, and x is a variable which is independent variable, and c is constant. Okay, the estimated model is like y hat is equals to a plus bx. So how can we find the values of a and b? So let start with the uh, residual sum of square. As we know that residual sum of square is equals to actual minus estimated and whole square. Okay, residual sum of square. This summation sign stand for sum, and y is the actual minus y hat is the estimated. When we subtract estimated from actual, the remaining will be the residual or the error. Okay, summation e square is equals to summation y minus y hat whole square. And then in the next step we just plug in the value of y hat, which is a plus bx. When we plug in the value of y hat in this equation, this negative sign uh, will convert this plus into the negative. Okay, now after putting the value of y hat into this equation, which is equation a, we are going to take the derivative with respect to a, and then we are going to we will take the derivative of residual sum of scale with respect to b. Okay, now we are going to take the derivative with respect to a. So as we can see that this equation is in power form. Okay, so here we apply the power rule, then we take the partial derivative with respect to a. So power rule state that bring this power into the start of equation, and as we know the derivative, according to derivative rule, we have to subtract minus 1 from the power. So we bring this 2 into the start, and we have subtracted minus 1 from the power, and then we take the derivative of the particular variable, or particular the coefficient or particular value. So here we are interested in taking the derivative of a. So when we take the derivative of a, its derivative is minus 1, as y when we are taking derivative with respect to a, y and bx become constant, so they will become 0. So only the derivative of this a is minus 1. So what is the rule for taking the derivative of any variable? We bring the power of any variable into its charts. Here it's the power of a is 1, so we bring this 1 into its very front here, and we will minus 1 power 1 from the its value. So here the power of a is 1, and according to derivative rule we have to subtract 1 from its power. So when we subtract 1 minus 1, so it will become its power becomes 0. So we know that according to mathematics rule, that the that if any variable or any number has power equals to 0, it will become 1. Okay, so now when this minus 1 will multiply with this 2, it will become minus 2, and the remaining equation is written as it is. Okay, 2 minus 1 equals to 1. So here when there is no power of any equation, any variable, it means that it has power 1. Okay, so after this step, we this 2 is multiplying with this equation, we bring this to here and divide it with 0, and it will also becomes 0. So here the equation remain like this. So after, in the next step, we multiply the summation with these numbers or values or coefficient which are inside the brackets. So when we multiply this summation to these values, the what is the guideline? The guideline is that when summation is multiplied with variable, it is become as summation y, and when this summation is multiplied with any constant, it will become n. Okay, n a, as we know that summation stand for sum. And this minus sign is also multiplied with these all signs, so minus summation y, and when minus summation multiply by with a, minus minus will become plus, and when summation multiply by with constant, it will become na according to the rule. And when minus summation multiply by this bx, it will minus multiply by minus equals to plus, and summation b summation x. Okay, so now here we can see that here both the constant and variable exist. So when in this situation, summation multiply with only constant. Okay, so in the next step, we bring this summation y to the left side of the equation. Here it is minus, and we know that according to mathematics rule, when any number which have negative sign, if we transfer it to the other side of the equation, its sign changes. So here summation y have negative sign. When we transfer it to the other side of the equation, it will become positive. So this is the solution for equation a. Now we are going to take the derivative of this equation with respect to b. Okay, so we are going to take the partial derivative of equation a with respect to b. So as we discussed earlier that this equation have power, so we will apply the power rule first. When we apply the power rule, this power will become at the beginning of the equation, and we will subtract the minus 1 from power. And now we will take the derivative of the variable which we are interested. So we are interested in taking the derivative of b. So when we are interested in the taking partial derivative of b, then this y and a become constant. We consider them as constant, and and we know that according to derivative rule, the derivative of constant is always 0. So these y and a become 0, and the derivative for b is minus x. As I told earlier that the power of b is 1. We bring this 1 into its start, and we will subtract 1 from its power. Its power is also 1. So when we subtract 1 minus 1, it will become 0. Its power will become 0, and we know that every number or coefficient which have power 0, it will become equals to 1. So it will b will become 1, and its derivative will remain minus x. So this minus will multiply with this 2, and we will bring this x to the with summation x. Now as we did earlier, we will divide this 2 with 0, and it will become 0. And now we will multiply summation x with these three elements, minus summation xy, and when we multiply summation x with this a, it will minus into minus, it will become plus, and a summation x plus minus into minus will become plus, and summation x into x equals to summation x square. So now in this equation 2 is eliminated as we divide it with the 0, so it will become eliminated from the equation. So in the next step, we transfer this minus xy to the left side of the equation, as it has minus sign. When it will transfer to the other side of the equation, its sign become negative, and other elements are remaining on the right side of the equation as it is. So now in the next step, here is the calculation for the equation A, and this is the equation calculation for the equation B. Now we divide equation 1 with n, as we want to eliminate this n from the equation, so we have to divide with n with all these elements. So we have divided this n with all these three elements. So when we divide summation y by n, as we know that it will become y bar, which is equals to mean. And when we divide this na with n, the n is cancel out with n, so the remaining thing is a. And when we divide summation n with this b summation x, it will become summation x over n, which is equals to x bar. So summation y over n will become y bar, and summation x over n will become x bar. So here is the estimated equation for y, which is equals to y hat is equals to a plus bx bar. Okay, now if we want to find the value of a from here, what we have to do, we just transfer this y bx bar to the left side of the equation. When it transferred to the left side of the equation, its sign changes into negative, as it has plus sign at the moment. When we transfer this bx bar to the left side of the equation, its sign changes, and a is equals to y bar minus bx bar. So now we have find the value of a. Now we will find the value of this b. So what we have to do, as in equation 2, summation x y is equals to a summation x plus b summation x square. So we will put the value of a in this equation. Okay, here we will put the value of a here, and we can find the value of b. So now when we put the value of a in this equation, a summation x plus b summation x square equals to summation xy. Summation xy written as it is, and here at a we put the value of a, which is equals to y bar minus bx bar. So a will become like this, y bar minus bx bar, and summation x as it is, and plus b summation x square. So as we know that y bar equals to summation y over n, and x bar is equals to summation x over n, and this summation x we write it as it is, and plus b summation x square. Okay, so now in the next step we will multiply this summation x with all these two elements, summation x multiplied by summation y, which will become summation x and summation y. Summation x into summation x, it will become summation x whole square, and as it is plus b summation x square. So here it is a mistake, please correct it when you are doing it. Plus b summation x square, this is not b summation xy. I write it as by mistake. This term will become here as it is, so it is not b summation xy. Please write it as b summation x square. It is not y, it is x square. Okay, so now after that what we have do, that we bring this summation x and summation y to the left side of the equation, as it has plus sign, and when we bring it to the left side of the equation, its sign changes and it will become negative. And what we did here, we did nothing here, just we arrange the value. We write the positive number first and the negative number at second number. So as I told you that this is not b summation xy, it is b summation x square. So b summation x square, and this minus b summation x whole square divided by n. Okay, and now what we have do in the next step, summation xy minus summation x into summation y over n plus, as you can see that these both term have b, so we will take b as common. When we take b from here as common, the remaining term is summation x square, and when we take b from here as common, the remaining term is summation x over summation x whole square over n. Okay, so now as we are interested for the finding value of b, So this whole term is multiplying with b. So when we bring this term to the left side of the equation, as according to math rule, when one thing is multiply on the one side of the equation, if we bring the equation on the other side of the equation, it will change into the divide form. So it is multiplying with b, and when we shift it to the other side of the equation, it will divide with the left side of the equation. So here is it is. And what we have in the last step, as you can see that n is both on denominator and numerator. So here you can take the LCM. When we take the LCM n, so as you can see that this term have no n, so n will multiply with this term as it is, which will become n summation xy. So this term have n, so the n will not multiply with this term. This term will remain as it is, summation x summation y. Similarly, with the denominator we will also take LCM of this n, and what will be the LCM after solving this? N summation x square minus summation x whole square over n. This n, uh, uh, the step which I am talking about, it is not practically done here. I am telling you verbally. Please do it by yourself. I hope that you are mature enough to take the LCM. So after taking the LCM, this n will be cancel out with this n. So the remaining term will be is equals to n summation xy minus summation x summation y, n summation x square minus summation x whole square. So this is the end for calculating the value of a and b. So let's talk some theory. What are the properties of least square regression line? It passes through mean point. What are the mean point? X bar and y bar. The estimated value of y hat is equals to the actual value of y hat. Okay, if it is then it will be the ideal situation for the estimation. The mean value of residual equals to 0. When we subtract the estimated from the actual value, the error will be 0. If the error will be 0, then it means our estimation is very true. The residual EI are uncorrelated with the predicted Y, and the residual EI are uncorrelated with predicted SI. What does it mean? If the error is correlated with YI, or if the error is correlated with XI, then it will create the problem of endogeneity. When error term is correlated with any of the dependent or independent variable, then it is called the problem of endogeneity. I hope this lecture is beneficial for you. One of our group member asked me to do this estimation, so I hope now he or she can understand. So please have a look on it and share it with all of your fellows.